Welcome back to another Productivity Like a Pro podcast episode. Today, I'm really excited as we have Reflect once again on the show. It's been a while and a lot has happened in the past. And it is Sam with us who also provided the Reflect deep dives inside the membership already. And I cannot wait to catch up what happened to Reflect comparison to the other tools on the market as well, especially in the AI game, as I see Reflect is leveraging AI really big time. Sam Klassen, welcome back to the show. Maybe for those who don't know Reflect and you, give us a quick introduction and then let's dive deeper into the tools.
Paperless Movement, your productivity, your way.
Perfect. Yeah, it's good to speak with you again. So like you said, my name's Sam. I'm technically the head of growth for Reflect, but I mostly handle just all the non-engineering stuff. So if you reach out to support, you're probably going to talk to me. I do white glove onboarding for people, all of that good stuff. So Reflect is a minimalist note-taking app that aims to help you think better. So I think that's the really, really big thing that differentiates us from a lot of the other tools out there. We're intentionally very, very minimalist. We often joke that our biggest competitor is Apple Notes because they're just, very fast, very simple. And so when people kind of shuffle around productivity tools, they tend to go back to Apple Notes. And there's a really good reason for that. So we kind of compare ourselves very lovingly to Apple Notes in terms of a simplicity and a performance perspective. But of course, like you said, we've got a bunch of other powerful tools built in. So gosh, I think a lot's changed since the last time I talked to you. But we've integrated a lot of these AI tools that we can talk about, from a voice transcriber to an assistant. Reflect uses a backlinking model over a folder system. So you connect and backlink notes together, much like your brain associates thoughts or ideas together. And so that's really what we mean when we say Reflect helps you think better and it mirrors your brain. It really is kind of that frictionless note taking where you can just easily capture and find information.
Yeah. Well, and we've been joking before we started the interview already that you, as the head of growth, people might think, oh, well, this is now a marketing show. But in fact, you're the guy who is constantly using Reflect and doing all the videos about this, as I mentioned already, doing the deep dive as well and so on. So you certainly know about the tools. And you even said that you're the guy who finds the bugs all the time and is bugging the development team, right? So we have the
Yeah.
right person here on the show to talk about Reflect, the ins and outs. And well, let's dive into the AI features, because for those who follow the channel know that we are using Heptabase and we are using Tana as well inside the Paperless
Awesome.
Movement. But we know many people in the membership in the Paperless Movement community also use Reflect, and especially for exactly the reasons that you said, the minimalism and the focus on a specific set of features that are well implemented. And that's what we want to talk about today. One feature in particular I want to start with is the voice recording and transcribing and using AI for summaries. That's where people thought, oh, Tana capture, that's the only thing. No, it was there all the time already for Reflect. Maybe you can tell us a bit more and give us a use case how you can leverage this feature. So first of all, Reflect is also available on mobile to make it easy to capture, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And in a lot of my demo videos on YouTube, I will record on the desktop app, but in reality, I usually use the mobile app just because it's so much easier. I don't know if you can see on my screen, there's a little circle there. I've got like a
I
widget
guess
so
the
I can just
podcast
start
listeners
recording.
won't see it at
Oh,
all.
okay, yeah, because I guess that would be audio only. So I guess
No
I can
problem.
easily describe it. On my phone screen, I have like a little lock screen widget, so I can just tap a button and start recording and transcribing a voice note, which works really, really well for kind of the shower moments, or like you're driving or something and you don't want to look at a phone for whatever reason. But I guess to kind of back up and to your original question on the voice recorder, I'm really glad you started with that one, because I think people a lot of the times focus on the AI assistants and the GPTs and that stuff. I think the voice transcriber has been the single most transformative feature for my note taking, to the point where it's a complete non-negotiable for me now in any tool. It almost kind of drives me nuts when I have to type out long things now, because I've gotten just so used to transcribing my voice. And I think a lot of people, if they haven't tried it, are probably listening to this and they're imagining like Siri or Alexa, like the frustrating moments where you're just kind of screaming at the device and it doesn't have any idea what you're saying, can't even do the simplest task. I really have to emphasize to people what AI has done for voice transcriptions is the magic is in the accuracy.
Yeah,
It's
100% agree.
almost, yeah.
You
I mean, it's
immediately
like,
felt started game changing the moment already that you've been writing to AI and it actually understands what you want from it, showed already it has more capabilities than Siri. And I immediately thought, okay, what if I send now just my voice transcription? It's the same thing. Well, and now I keep talking to ChatGPT while driving, discussing things and personal growth and self-reflection and things like that. You should not always take everything for granted what AI gives you, right? That's the thing. That's what self-reflection actually means. Does it make sense or not what this is saying? But I just love it to get some sparks and also having a person who's not getting tired of my stupid questions that I keep asking. So, and Siri, man, I just tried to switch on my lights in the studio again using Siri, and she keeps asking me, do you want to switch them on or off? And I say, man, what else should I tell you? What else? So I'm still waiting for the jump from Apple that they do something.
Oh,
Everybody is
man.
speculating, but maybe they're sitting in the back of the corner and saying, oh my God, we have no idea what we shall do now with all the competitors out there. Well, who knows? We will see.
I mean, my
But
fiance makes fun of me because I just voice text all the time and I still have to use Siri, right? Because they haven't integrated like Whisper or anything from OpenAI. And sometimes she's just like, I'm sorry, I don't even know what this message was trying to say. Like it
exactly.
is so far off the mark. It is not even comprehensible. So like that is the difference accuracy makes, right? It's the difference in your mind. You don't think it would be that big, but once you use it, you're like, this is literally the difference between this tool being completely worthless or the most magical thing I've ever encountered.
Yeah, that's the point. And now we see all the meeting summary tools and so on. They are using the transcription to create the summaries because the transcriptions are actually useful. And well, I think tools like Otter and others, they really got big competitions there as well now, as these been always on the forefront. But let's get back to Reflect. So we get the audio transcription in there, and then you also using OpenAI's AI, or do you have a own or a combination of AIs there?
Everything we're currently using is through OpenAI. So the voice transcriber uses Whisper, which is OpenAI's transcriber. And from what I've seen, the vast majority of transcribing tools are using Whisper currently. It seems far and away the best tool for that. And then on the AI assistant GPT front, we're using GPT 4.0. So that's the new model. And, 6 months later, when they release a new model, we'll just update to that one too. So for the sake of this video, if you're watching this in the future, we keep it updated
until the tool will take over
model.
and will keep updating itself and building out a robot and walking around in the streets shooting people. But okay,
yeah,
we will see.
Until we have AGI, but when we have AGI, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be on a beach, just like hanging out, drinking cocktails. I'm not going to be working anymore anyway. So.
Okay, well, let's not hope that it goes that way. But until then, let's leverage AI to the maximum. So you take notes on the go, it goes into Reflect. How do you organize all these notes in there? As you said, there are no folder structures as you're using a backlinking structure. Is there anything that Reflect can do in order to give suggestions for backlinking just based on what you received by the audio input?
Yeah, it can do a lot actually. So usually with the audio transcriptions, I have like a two-part workflow. It's like I will transcribe it, and then depending on what it is, I'll run an AI prompt on it. And the AI prompts can do everything. So as you can imagine, when you just transcribe something, it just ends up in your notes as a block of text. Not particularly useful unless you're just literally trying to record something. Usually you're going to want to format it. And so like backlinking, for example, we have a prompt built into Reflect that will automatically add backlinks for you. And it basically goes in, takes your transcription, finds all, like the people, places, basically all proper nouns, anything that starts with a capital, and it'll add a backlink for you. Formatting is a really, really common one that I use them for. So actually last week, 2 weeks ago, I was driving back from California. So it's like a multi-day huge drive. And the whole drive, I would just like record all these audio notes. Some of them would be articles. Some of them would be project proposals. Some of them are just like tasks or like a side project idea. And then I can go through when I'm done driving and just run the AI prompts on them. So like I help run an agency that does marketing content. So it's like if I have a client call, I can literally transcribe the call and then just run an AI prompt on it that formats it into a proposal. So I don't even have to write the proposal. If it's, like I'm writing an article right now on indie hardware revolution, where I think we're about to see a hardware wave similar to software. So I can just ramble about that while I'm making my coffee or out taking a walk. And it can be totally unstructured, right? Like just all the thoughts that I have on like hardware DIY enthusiasts. And I can just kind of transcribe that and then have it take all the key takeaways and put it into an article outline for me. I personally don't use AI for the actual writing because I don't quite think it's actually getting pretty close to that, but maybe not totally there. Like I still prefer my own writing, but I use it for kind of the infrastructure of all the other parts. So it's like capturing my thoughts, organizing my thoughts, doing the editing, inserting research for me. That's a really good one. Like I just put all my thoughts there and I'm like, hey, can you go find some academic sources to back up all my thoughts?
A good idea. Well, the thing is, I'm heavily using ChatGPT on its own as a standalone, and a lot of things that you say, I use ChatGPT. I use the own GPTs that you can create on your own for many tasks already. So, but the bigger advantage is it to do it through Reflect in this case what I'm really impressed is then the backlinking, the automatic backlinking, and you're actually building up a knowledge base, and
Yeah.
you have the single source of truth to go to, so you can actually search for the things. There are some plugins, integrations, but that's pretty buggy, in my opinion, in a ChatGPT itself, where it helps you some sort of organizing. But having it integrated in a knowledge management, a personal knowledge management tool like Reflect, and now also in Tana, they're doing this with the databases. And that's where it becomes really useful then, the combination of things.
Well, and the saving custom prompts is huge. So like that example I was talking about where I just have AI do my project proposals, I can do that because I saved a custom prompt that formats my project proposals for the agency. And so then it's like you just do it once and then the AI prompt can do it for you all the other time. You also made me wonder, have you tried our AI chat yet, where you can chat with your notes using AI?
No, I haven't. So that is another interesting topic as well, as Mem killed itself recently or a while ago already by going all in with the chat, and they removed so many features what made people not so happy. And their struggle with chat in a PKM system was always seeing the big picture. So the bigger your knowledge base gets, the more confused AI becomes to understand what you're actually looking for. So how do you tackle this with Reflect? I'm really interested in this.
Oh, that's such a good question. So the way I say I had no part in this. Like I said, I'm all the non-engineer product stuff, but I'm going to keep saying we as if I had a part developing this. So the way
I'm sure you'll
the
play
team
a
really
part
did it.
by giving all the feedback and the things that you want to have to make it work in your life. But if it works for you, it will
Yeah.
work for everybody else. And well, that's it. So you have a part for sure.
Yeah, totally. But the way they did the chat is it's part of our advanced search. So this actually solved two problems in one go. So the first one is exactly what you brought up, which is this context component, which is like, I've been a digital note taker for like a decade. So I have like an insane number of notes. And the way we solve that problem is the advanced search. You can literally search for something to refine your notes. You can add filters, whether it be by date or whether it has like a certain tag or it's backlinked. All of these things you can filter. And then the AI chat will take those filtered notes, and that's the information it will pull on. So to give you an example, one of
Smart
my
approach.
favorite things, yeah. And one of my favorite examples of this is like chatting with my library. So like I have all my books saved into Reflect, right? And then I can go in and start chatting with my books and the notes that I've saved from my book. Or maybe I'm looking for something, but I can't remember it. And so I can just go select the book tag and then be like, what was that book that I read once that was about a young man coming of age in the Alps or something like that? And it'll like go find the book for you. And you're like, great. Similarly, if you are saving like researching something, you could add a tag to that or just like the notes backlink to that topic. And you can start chatting with your research and all the links that you've saved and stuff. It's super cool. I mentioned it solves two problems. The second problem that solves is a privacy issue. So right now, and this is something everyone should be aware of, all of these tools that are using GPT from OpenAI, if you're using GPT, that has to allow the information to be sent back and forth between OpenAI. Now it's like, if it's something like your notes, it's completely anonymized. So it's not like a OpenAI employee is getting something that's like, hey, Sam Clausen just wrote this down in his notes, something like that. But they could technically have access to the data. And your note taker, that's, something you very much might not want. And so the other thing this solves is that anything outside of the AI tools is completely separate from this AI integration. So if I, write a note filled with like my passwords or something, no one's going to be able to see that, even if it's anonymized through OpenAI. Now, if I start using the AI assistant on that entire note, then that brings it into the AI ecosystem. So a lot of tools out there have just kind of thrown up the hands and said OpenAI can just have access to everything. And that's like totally fine. There's a lot of advantages that come with that. You get a lot more functionality. But we kind of took the more, I guess you'd call it conservative approach with regard to privacy. And so that's kind of the line we drew, is that if you're a real privacy nut and you don't want anyone to have access to literally anything, then you just don't have to use the AI tools and they won't ever touch it. If you start chatting with a note using AI, that does pull in the AI integration. So they really implemented the AI chat in a way that solves both of those issues, both from a functionality perspective and a privacy one.
Well, that sounds really interesting approach, but the question would then be, is it then still worth using Reflect without the AI integrations?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean,
So let's
I
talk
think
about the other features that Reflect offers, right? There was a segue there. Bit awkward, but we made it.
We got here. We're here.
We got it. That's the thing. No, so let's assume there are no AI features activated. How would we leverage Reflect as a PKM tool then? So we mentioned already backlinking, right? So it's the typical, I use add and reference other notes. I can create notes. You mentioned tags as well for organization, that I can tag the things. You mentioned in one of your videos, I think you said it's an outliner, but is it really an outliner?
No, it's not. It's not technically an outliner, but we do use Markdown syntax.
Okay, use Markdown, which is not outlining, right? The outlining is having the nodes and not just the bullets. So each bullet is a node in itself. So that's not something that Reflect offers, right? But you also have the outlining structure. So you can tap intent and then you keep writing there. So that's not something, I thought I saw this in one of your videos that you mentioned that, but it's not one of the key features. But when it comes to formatting, how far does it go? So let's refer back to Mem, where they really focus just on text and it's hard to get anything else in there. What about Reflect when I add rich content like maybe YouTube videos, embeds and images, you name it?
Yep, all those can be added, like a YouTube video that will get embedded on page. Currently, things like PDFs will appear as attachments, but that's one of the next things on our roadmap.
At least as an attachment and not just as a link. That's
right, yeah. Well, it's like stored on there's like a lot that goes into it and how it's stored through linking and whatnot. But the next thing on our roadmap is going to be adding in kind of full attachment integration. So for example, if I save a PDF, I can then search that PDF within my notes and actually work with that PDF. Whereas right now,
very
it just
interesting.
attaches it onto a note. Yeah.
So now that would be the next question. Something that I leveraged Evernote for so long, and I stopped now as Dropbox is doing the same job, but using OCR and then therefore making the PDF searchable. So sending invoices, I would be able to find the things. Is there something that is included in this approach?
Yep, it will be. OCR is definitely on the roadmap. And like I said, I mean, I don't want to say which one of these is first, but I think tasks going to mobile app is first, and we can talk about tasks next. That's a good one. And then I think file attachment. So it's definitely one of the next things on the roadmap.
Okay, so that will be really interesting. The challenge is now integrating this again with going back to AI with the chat, because indexing all these PDFs might be the challenge. Will it be searchable via the AI chat?
It should be. I'm not going to say that with 100% confidence because I'm not the technical one, but I can't see why it wouldn't be. And
wow, that's what ClickUp said. And we are still waiting for the perfect integration. But
well, I should say too, we are looking to a future where we can have a local hosted AI. We don't have to worry about any of these issues with, right? So if we have a locally hosted AI, which again could happen like literally any day, I could wake up and I could see a message from Alex that's like, I found it, it's good enough, let's do it. But it could also be months or years, I'm not sure. But once we have that, then you can give an AI full reign over all of your notes. And that is going to be like such an unlock because.
So is there no limitations then? I mean, imagining that I would.
I mean,
import hundreds of PDFs with invoices
Right.
and run them and contracts and all this. And do you think this is then all accessible via AI? That would be very interesting.
Right? Yeah, totally. Or just like, I don't know, like everything. You could start just transcribing, I mean, basically your life into your notes, and there's no security, privacy issues because the AI is locally hosted. So that's the future that we're very much looking forward to. And we'll just kind of sit tight until that's available. But like I said,
Well,
things are
thanks
moving
for
so
giving us
fast
the
with AI.
outlook there and at least
Yeah,
mentioning or teasing it. That's the
I
word I
know.
was looking
Yeah.
for. The thing is, we just mentioned ClickUp, or I mentioned ClickUp, and they put in a workaround as they introduced their ClickUp Brain, and that's their AI integration. And I already
Okay.
had the worries that when I ask this AI, I can now ask the whole project management, knowledge management database in ClickUp for anything. But the confusion happens again, right? There are so many
Mm.
tasks, so many comments going on. How does AI really know what's relevant there? So what you already mentioned with the filtering, if it gets context aware. So when I'm on a specific task, it knows that and it gives me information around that. But what they now introduced is verified wikis. So therefore I can select specific docs and say that's a verified wiki. So AI will prioritize these docs when it comes to these searches. So I can have my basic business information and our ICO methodology. The whole book could be there as a wiki. So that's something also I think is a smart integration. And this could be maybe something for Reflect as well. So I can have a set of notes that I want to have always accurate data whenever I search something related to this content.
And I do
Now,
that actually
talking about
with my.
writing a book, as you have many scripts and drafts and different versions, that's where I think AI always starts to struggle. Also, you could also say, well, always use the latest version. Where was the latest updated version? But to save resources. But well, I'm
Well, I should
impressed
also
with
say,
the filter integration already.
yeah, and I should say I do that exact workflow you're talking about. So
Mhm.
I have a research tag, and anything like a link that I save from an academic source that I'm like, this is a trusted research source, not some article on Twitter or something. I will add a research tag to it. And then when I'm chatting with my notes or searching stuff, or I even have AI prompts that will use this, it's like only look at the research, ignore everything else
Oh, that's
except for the
awesome.
research. Yeah. And so the tags really, really become powerful with the filtered search and the AI chat.
That's such a smart integration, and we will certainly look into this. And we keep recommending this to our busy professionals. Also, we are using Tana. This is too complicated for too many people. Tana, I think still, even they try to make it simpler. And your Apple Notes approach that you have there, I think this makes it so easy to use exactly these features. So very well done. You now mentioned the
Yeah.
tasks. So you're looking for tasks. I mean, we at the Paperless Movement are always worried about when tools try to go all in one application approach. So I'm curious about how you want to tackle tasks in there.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. We will never be the all-in-one tool. In fact, we're aggressively against that, and some people get mad at us occasionally, but we're like, sorry,
No,
it's
that's good that you
we
do
add in
that.
all
That's
the
how you
features
will
to.
survive as a company for
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah. We're very anti feature bloat. The reason Alex added in tasks is because I remember, I think we were talking about this on our gathering last year, but that is just such a fundamental part of note taking that, I mean, it's just one of the key things you do in your notes, right? Is like, what do I absolutely need to get done today? But then there's reasons why you would need a list of something to check it off. That's not like a to do list you need to do. Like, maybe I need to like go to the grocery store sometime this week, but it's not like a critical task like a podcast recording or something. So there's a real difference between those two, and that's why Alex eventually made the decision to add in tasks to Reflect. But it wasn't one of the first features. Like I think it was maybe 2 years or something that he added it in. And so what that is you now have two options for checkboxes, I guess I'll call them. One is just a standard checkbox. That's just always what it was. It's just a simple thing that you can check on and off. And then there's a tasks, which is a circular box that you can also check off. And if you add something as a task with the circle box, the only difference is that it appears in the tasks tab on the left. And so if you are just cranking through your day, your to-do list, and you only want to focus on your work, you can just manage that all from the tasks list and check them off. The other thing it does is if I don't complete a task today, it will remain there tomorrow with like a little overdue label. So, like a good example is if I have like a board report due this week and I put that as a to-do list item for today. If I don't do it today, it will still be there tomorrow and it will just kind of have that overdue label in the tasks tab. And I mentioned one of the first thing over file support that we're going to add is tasks to mobile. It's currently only on the desktop and the browser applications of Reflect. It's not yet on the mobile device, but they're actively working on that. So it should be there very, very soon.
Well, the thing is, that's great. And Heptabase, they also integrated tasks recently in a similar approach. And we are absolutely happy about this at the Paperless Movement and based on iCore. As the busy professionals, well, they have hundreds of tasks a week. I mean, we're talking about speedies, tasks less than 15 minutes. And these tasks arise also during meetings where you take your notes. And instead of going then to a task manager, where you actually then plan out your tasks during the week, you don't necessarily want to leave your note-taking app. So what we recommend then, create these tasks if the tool actually provides a task inbox, because then it makes all the sense. And there we have Apple Notes again. Even if you're using Apple Notes, you can quickly create a task, have then a smart folder to show all the notes with the tasks in there. So the same will be there in Reflect. I can through the day make all my tasks, and then I have my daily routine where I go, there would be one item, process the Reflect task inbox, and then I move these tasks into the final destination where it's my action system, or there are things that I can just take off as it already resolved, or I can do within Reflect. So absolutely appreciated the info inbox, as long as you're not going for a project management tool or something like that. That's
no, definitely
something
not.
well, it makes all the sense to have this feature in there for sure. To have a place
absolutely.
where I find all the checkboxes. That's actually what it is.
Yeah.
Well, you can edit more features
couple...
there with due dates and things like that, but still, that's great.
Oh, that's a good one, actually. So there is not like set due dates, but how we did that without kind of adding in the due date feature is it just works off the daily note format.
But that's also
So,
that's even better, as we would never
right.
plan out tasks within the note-taking app and a PKM
Right.
system. It makes all the sense. And having a feature that just tracks when it was created and you see how old the tasks are, that's great. And it's sorted by when it was created. So whenever you process this, you can start at the bottom, I guess. Or it's the overdue on top.
Yeah,
How do you order it?
Well, if I, to just explain how it works, like if I were to add a task for tomorrow that says, I'll use the same example, like prepare for board report, then I'll be able to see it. It will just appear as upcoming because it's a future date. Whereas if I have one from yesterday, it will appear as
so
overdue.
you will be able to give due dates then. There was a misunderstanding.
You can based on where the task lives. So you have a daily note, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like,
and if I go into the future,
yesterday, today, tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. So tasks put on future daily notes are upcoming. Tasks that are on past daily notes are overdue, and tasks on the current daily note are current. You can also add them to non-daily notes and they just appear under that section. So that's kind of nice because it's like I have my Reflect work, I have my agency work, and I can just put the tasks under each of those. And then on my tasks page, I know what ones I have to do today for Reflect, what ones I have to do for my agency, so on and so forth.
Well, that's perfect. And I think it always depends on your work complexity and the amount of tasks. It certainly works for many people to just use this one tool, and have this level of task management is more than enough for daily business. So great. Well, when can we expect all these amazing updates?
We never give exact updates or exact dates on when they're going to be launched. So I can't tell you, but I know that
this year, next year, in 25 years.
Oh, definitely this year. Like tasks to mobile, I just saw a message of Wojtek working on that. So that's like actively being worked on. And then I think file OCR will be right after that. So yeah, if anyone ever wants to look at our roadmap, you can always go to reflect.app/roadmap. We publish it there too. And there's also some other, smaller things that we didn't cover that we added. Like if you're on a note now, it will now show similar notes based on the context on the sidebar. So, if I have a note that's like podcast for Paperless Movement, it will maybe show a related one for like Tim Ferriss podcast or something like that, because it's also a productivity podcast as an example.
That's amazing. That's already in there? No, sorry, I misunderstood.
Already in there. Yep.
It's already in there. Well, I have to check this out. I didn't know. That's amazing.
Yep.
Another nail in the coffin for Mem. Sorry.
You said that, not me.
I said that. Yeah, that's the thing.
Another similar one, suggested backlinks. So it's like if I write, Tom Solid down in my note and I don't backlink your name, it will detect that. And on the side under suggested backlinks, it'll be like, hey, do you want to add Tom Solid as a backlink? And I can just click check and it will just add that automatically. I'm trying to think if there's any like quick hitters that we've added. I think like merge notes and alias notes existed already last time we spoke, but I think those two ones are new, similar notes and suggested backlinks.
Amazing. Well, I think we covered so much today, and we certainly will have a follow-up interview once the new features are out there, as we have a lot more to cover then. Sam, it was a pleasure talking to you again, and I really love the progress that Reflect made in all the time. And I think we will catch you up next time then.
Yeah, maybe next time we'll chat. We can chat about some file stuff, some more tasks on mobile, and gosh, like, depending on the advancements in AI, who knows what's going to be
Well,
new
that's the
next
point.
time we
I think
chat,
that
so.
will be, we will yet again, 90% will talk about AI, but very well implemented all the things. So congratulations on the tool. Everybody out there,
Thanks, Tom.
guys, thanks for listening and watching, depending on where you checked out the podcast, and we catch you up next time.